welcome to this long overdue update on the Yarslow channel. Well, what have I been doing? What have I been doing, I can hear you ask. Well, okay, it's not been straightforward this year and last year, has it? Let's be honest. There's been a few things in our way, not the least of which has been a global pandemic. Me personally, throw into that the fact that I've been renovating a house for 10 months, and you'll understand that my focus has not necessarily been 24/7 on the railway. But for all that, I set myself a little milestone of May the 4th this year to get all my jobs done within the house so that I could then get out into the shed and start some work. Hence the title of this video, The Journey Begins. May the 4th be with you. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, I fully apologise. So this is what the shed looked like this morning on May the 4th. Lots of stuff still stored here. Some stuff that's meant to go into the house, other stuff that's meant to be going into the workshop, but it's all still here. At least it was here this morning. Today I have been fitting electrics into the workshop and building a bench, which has moved some of the stuff on the left hand side of this picture as you look at it out of the way. And I've also started to fit the Kingspan insulation. This is 25mm thick, foil lined on both sides, expanded polystyrene kind of foam stuff in the middle. It isn't polystyrene, it's better than that. And once that's gone all the way round, I will then line the walls. I will also insulate and line the roof. I have ordered my lights to go up, so they are going to be fitted, and on next Thursday, which by my reckoning is the 11th, I'm going to have a lorry load of linear timber and plywood arrived, which in effect is the baseboards, the structural wood ready for building the baseboards, and that is exciting. So despite the weather not being very good, I've been able to get out in the garden, set up the horses and cut the Kingspan, and this is really all you need: a square and a sharpie, a nice long edge and an ordinary saw. Although it's file lined both sides, it's quite easy to cut with a saw. So I'm measuring all the bits and then cutting it into the bits I want. And on the Thursday, as duly promised, a very large lorry with a crane turned up and delivered me all this linear timber and all these sheets of 4 and 9mm ply that came on a pallet. Now unfortunately the date it came the weather wasn't very good, so we had to manhandle this quickly round into the shed and rather throw it down the middle. So more disruption and more mess in the shed, but at least it was here and we could get started. And with all that timber and a lot of work with a plunge saw and a pair of horses, this is the outcome. You can see that starting here, I've gone all the way down now to line the lower half of the shed, right to the end, right across the end, right up this side, and I've done this whole end here. Haven't done the roof. That's going to take an extra pair of hands. It does mean, of course, that everything has been moved again, so we've got more mess, more disruption. The weather's been rubbish, so unfortunately I can't get outside. I've still got plenty of timber left, and I haven't obviously touched the linear stuff yet because that's for baseboards. But this is 4mm ply, and you can see that it's just pinned on. And I've decided that actually this is the, if I look down the shed here, this is the storage sidings half. This height here on the top, this is 4 foot. So the baseboard will actually sit at this height, and then I have 15 inches above that before I get to the ceiling joist. So there'll be a piece of ply here. That gives me 15 inches there, which doesn't matter as much on this side, but on the other side of the shed where the ceiling section is, that I think is more than enough when you think about the height of the trains, height of the scenery. So what I was thinking here was that the stock is kind of this high, so you might have a tree that's this high, and there's still a fair bit of sky above. Even if the tree is this high, you've still got sky above, and of course if you come forward you've got even more height because of the slope of the roof. So that 15 inches is going to be fine. More so obviously at the end. This is where at this end where the door is, I've got to put plywood across the door like that. This is where the permanent way yard is going to be, so the entrance onto the scenic section will be about there, I think. So then you've got, this is the permanent way area here. I've drawn it on the floor, but it's, with all the walking about, it's been slowly eradicated. And you can see there's the baseboard edge, that green line down there. So this will be the platform area, and then I'll be looking through the junction, and up in that far corner, as ever behind the eternal pile of boxes, is the engine shed. So we're still in a mess, but once this is done, and this is the important part, once this is done, then I'm going to be able to organise all these crates and boxes and timber and the fridge and all sorts of other stuff into storage bays, which are going to start here. That's the electric consumer unit in the corner. So that's why I haven't filled that bit in, because I've got to run all the wiring there. But leaving that aside, there'll be a storage bay here for camping equipment, and then barbecue equipment, and then something else, and then something else in between the uprights and the legs. And the legs are all this 2x2 stuff that's under here. That's all the legs. I've gone 3x1 for the sides supports of the baseboard, and here all this timber. This is the 9mm timber that will be the baseboard tops. This is the 3mm stuff that I'm lining the shed with, and this odd bit of 22 has been left over from another project. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. And I have got lots of other stuff as well. I've got lots of 4mm ply, some 4 or 5mm stuff here. You can see it's noticeably thicker. And because I've been cutting these boards to go from upright to upright, I've got a load of bits left, and that's all these bits in the corner, all these bits here, and they're about 9-10 inches wide. Well, they're going to be great for doing sort of front scenes, maybe internal back scenes, all sorts of stuff. So it's nothing's going to be wasted. So there we are, quick update on what we've been up to, and I'll do a little bit more in a little while when we manage to get the top and maybe the roof done. Hopefully that might be tomorrow. Well, a very long day's work, but I have now got all of that side and that side. All of the storage siding wall is done, this end wall is done. I've done the lower echelons of the roof all down that side and all down this side. I've started to cut these around the roof bars. What a faff they are. I've only got another 25 of those. That's going to take me a good day, I think, but good progress. Pleased with that. A good day's work. So clearly there's a long way to go before the new layout looks anything like the old one, with track and trains and scenery and everything else, but we've started the journey, and this is not going to be a blow-by-blow account. I've said that right from the outset. This is just basically taking you guys along with me for the ride and showing you what it takes, highs, lows and everything else, to build a layout on this scale. I'm glad you're still with me. Thank you for your subscriptions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, join us, join the gang, and I'll give you more updates soon when we get more progress.